Hello everyone. So again, we have brought you a new topic or new session, which will cover the current affairs of 25th May. And this session has been brought to you by Himalaya IAS classes. If you want to join the IAS 2021 batch or KS batch for English or Kannada medium, you can visit www.himalayaiasclasses.com, or you can reach out to us on this given number. So the significance of the current affairs every day is prelims. You have straightforward questions for current affairs. Mains, you have direct questions, as well as the information of current affairs is used in the examples and case studies in a lot of indirect questions. In essay, where you have to write multiple dimensions of a topic, there also it helps you a lot. Plus interview, it is very helpful because most of the interview questions, they are related to the contemporary issues. Okay. So let's get started with the first topic of this day. It is related to the potential of MG Narega. So MG Narega is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which provides the guarantee of 100 days of employment to all the youths above 18 years of age. So let us see in this article, it has been argued that how this can be a game changer or a problem solver in the current COVID situation. So in the syllabus, it belongs to economy. Okay. In the prelim section, economic and social development. For mains, it is the part of general studies, paper 3, the employment issue, the rural development. Okay. So MG Narega, the current crisis, the COVID crisis, where the income and unemployment has gone up to very high level in India. The expansion of Narega can be a solution for the problem. We already know that as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the allocation to Narega has been already increased by 40,000 crores. Okay, already government is trying to provide the public distribution support or the food grain support to the migrant laborers, okay, who have lost their livelihood. So PDF support, if you remember, tranche 2 of this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, it tries to increase the public distribution system for another few months, and it doubles the rationing. Then because a lot of people or migrant laborers, they have gone back to their own rural areas, so there is a huge demand for work in those areas, which can be filled by the Narega. Okay, also Narega will bring some wages to the people who will work, and that can actually push the demand in the economy. Also, because as of now, the payment in Narega scheme, it happens through the DBT, direct benefit transfer. So if rather than that we can switch to the cash system, then it can bring immediate cash flow to the people's hand and can help solving this problem. Okay. So for prelims, Manrega, it is based on the Right to Act, and it provides 100 days of employment to everybody, and the implementation monitoring agency for this is Ministry of Rural Development. There is a huge role of Gram Sabha, who will identify, prioritize the work, and from where ultimately the allocation of work is going to happen in this scheme as well. Also, this is the first scheme where social audit has been made mandatory. Okay, so all these facts about Manrega is important for your prelims point of view. Next two articles, they talk about the agricultural reforms. So I have taken the summary of both these articles. So agricultural reforms, we all know the third component of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, that was related to agricultural reforms. Okay, so let us see what are the challenges, what this article is trying to argue. Before that, syllabus, again, it is the part of the economic and social development, and when it comes to the mains, it is a part of general studies, paper 3. Okay, so from both these point of view, it is important. So first article actually basically arguing that farm sector or agricultural sector needs more than the income support. What it tells that there are schemes which provides cash transfer to the farmers. So these schemes are important from your prelims point of view. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, that is Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, plus Rajiv Gandhi Kisan Nyay Yojana. This has been launched by a state called Chhattisgarh. We have covered this in one of the earlier sessions. Okay, so this also has a provision of transferring some cash benefits to the farmer. Apart from that, government has this minimum support price program in which it secures tries to reduce the income risk faced by the farmer. Okay, this article is trying to argue is that first, these schemes are not perfect and there is much more needed to be done in order to remove the stress from agricultural sector. Why? It is saying all these income support schemes, they target mostly landowners and bypass the tenants and laborers who face more problems or who have access to very less resources in the rural areas. Plus, it is trying to say that the basic problem with the farming is non-remunerative nature of the farming. Farming is not providing good source of income to the farmers. That is why they are facing such problems, and even this whole sector is facing too many problems. They are saying that the need is there to go for the market driven reforms, but that will bring little risk of exposure of the farmers to the market. Also, there are a lot of existing issues. Let it be the land reforms, let it be the infrastructure for agriculture, let it be the marketing reforms. They have to solve first in order to reform this agricultural sector. Also, the article at the end says that this is the right time to declare the minimum support price. So, see, the next Kharif cycle of the cropping season is about to begin, and early we can declare the MSP. The better knowledge of information these farmers will have, and they can better plan their agricultural activities. The next article actually, it talks about the agricultural reforms, that what are the challenges in it. Okay, so it is saying that agricultural reforms, what has been initiated by the government as part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, they are nothing new, but they are on the older lines. Okay, so this tells that these three basically articles, APMC, Essential Commodities Act, and Contract Farming Law, which is supposed to be bring by this reform package. They will make three amendments to these two acts and they will make a new law on contract farming. That's what the reform says. So it has taken an example of APMC, and it has tried to tell that, okay, even if when we tried to reform this APMC market, some states actually tried to reform this, but still the situation couldn't be resolved or changed too much. So that's what this whole article is all about. So first, the challenges created by APMC. Okay, Agricultural Produce Market Committee. So every state has a APMC market. Every district you will find a APMC market. So what is APMC actually? In that particular district, first you have to sell your produce, agricultural produce, in the APMC market to the licensed dealers only. So that is like a barrier. You cannot sell it to the person who is giving you maximum price. You cannot sell it to somebody outside or who is not part of the APMC market. So that creates barrier, and for that, a lot of states have already tried. What steps the states have taken to reform the APMC market? They tried to deregulate it. They tried to introduce direct marketing, but he's saying the real challenge is not just about deregulation or direct marketing. Even after doing that, there is a lot of political interference in the functioning of APMC, which doesn't allow it to serve its purpose. It gives the example of Bihar, that it tried to deregulate this APMC market and it hoped that private investments will come once we deregulate the APMC market. Instead, what happened, once deregulating the market, agricultural market with the APMC, the state started losing its revenue. That was one problem. Second, not a lot of people came up with the investment proposals and which helped creating the infrastructure for this agricultural marketing. So that is why this article is saying the better solution will be to provide a regulated market, but within 5 kilometers. Okay, 5 is missing here. To provide a regulated market within 5 kilometers to all the rural areas, and trying to address the demand. Another challenge which is going to come up in this area is because people are not having too much money. A lot of people have lost their job, so they don't have money, they can't spend money. If they can't spend money, there is less demand in the economy. So better to address the demand and at the same time provide not deregulated but regulated market within their reach. Okay, and also it talks about that increase in the fiscal spending means public spending, the spending done by the government in the agriculture, it has to be increased in order to solve the problem of agriculture. Next, for prelims, you should see these three acts. What is the APMC Act? So it was Model APMC Act was enacted by the government of India. Then every state has enacted their own APMC Act. So it differs from state to state. Then Essential Commodities Act. So few things as part of reform has been taken out of the Essential Commodities Act, like edible oil, cereals, okay, pulses, onion, potato. Plus, this law has not came yet, but you should know the meaning of contract farming. This is there to reduce the price risk of the farmers as well as of the business institutions. Okay, so government is trying to come up with a model law about contract farming. Next article of today talks about this Somalia, which is facing two type of challenges. So Somalia is an African country. So let us quickly take a look as part of current affairs, and it is part of international relations. In mains, international relation is the part of GS paper 2. Okay. So one is maritime dispute between Somalia and Kenya. So actually in the continental shelf, we all know in the geography, at the boundary of continent and ocean, as you go inside the ocean, the first area which will come is going to be continental shelf. Okay. So, and then second issue is the general election, which is about to held in Somalia. Okay. This maritime issue. So these two countries have approached to the UN Commission on the Limits of Continental Shelf, which can tell whose area it belongs to. Also, they are contending this issue in the International Court of Justice. Another issue is the Jubala land region in the Somalia, where a lot of instability is happening, and it's in this general election, the Somalia has to introduce universal adult suffrage, means one person, one vote, and for everybody. So this is a big change, and in this much of chaos, whether they will be able to implement this universal adult suffrage and plus contend these issues when you are facing this COVID crisis is a challenge. So from our point of view, let us take a look what are the issues. So see, for Jubala land region, this is the region in Somalia. Okay. And this is Kenya. So next to it, there where people are trying for succession or more autonomy, that is one part. So in prelims, a lot of time UPSC has asked the question recently seen in news, this place belongs to which area? So this belongs to Somalia. Mogadishu is the capital of Somalia. Next is the issue related to the continental shelf or the maritime dispute. So if you see, this is the boundary line, and both countries are saying that, okay, which should be the boundary line. As per Somalia, this should be. As per Kenya, this should be. Why? See, this region has got a lot of petroleum and oil reserves, which has been found out. That's why whoever will get access to this area will have a lot of access to the petroleum and oil reserves, and that is why both the countries are fighting for it. Okay. Also, please take a look at the map of Africa. So there is Kenya, this is Somalia. Okay, both of this, they have access to this Arabian Ocean. Just take a look at their neighboring countries. Okay, map based questions are also very common in UPSC prelims. Moving ahead, next issue, again continuously highlight of last week, plus I think going to be the highlight of this week, India-China border disputes. Okay, so we have already discussed the different points about it. Today we are going to see one new angle to it. So this is related to international relations or current affairs. Mains, it will be the part of general studies paper 2. Okay. So there was a rumor that some Indian soldiers have been detained by Chinese. So that has been denied by Indian Army, that there is no detention of Indian soldiers. Then the sites which we have already discussed in the earlier sessions, that Angong Taso, which is a place in Ladakh, Galwan River, again, which is a place in Ladakh, Demchuk, again a place in Ladakh, and Nakula, which is a place in Sikkim. Here we are seeing more standoff happening between India and China. So as we have discussed this earlier, I'll be mentioning it again. See, one of the major reasons for this increased dispute is basically, first, this boundary line is not settled, which is line of actual control. Second reason is now India has developed the infrastructure in the border areas. Roads have been built, so patrolling activity has been increased by Indian side. So that's what something they are not able to, come on the level with it. And that's why we are hearing about more number of standoff between the two countries. So here I have given you the map of one of the road infrastructure which we have built. So at Ladakh, we have seen that 3 points the standoff is happening. So this is called the, once again, the name is Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldie Road. Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldie Road, and this is where it starts and it goes till Daulat Beg Oldie. So this is the road which we have built along this line of actual control, and here we have increased our patrolling activities. And this is the same area where the standoff between India and China has increased now. You can see this, it starts from this place, Leh, then it goes to Darbuk, then it goes to Shok, then it goes to the Daulat Beg Oldie. So this is the border road which has been built by India, and along with we have increased our patrolling activities, and China is also, increasing its presence along the same road, and that's why we have more number of standoff between the two countries. Next is the statement issued by the Chinese Foreign Ministry saying that the United States is pushing the relations between US and China to the brink of a new Cold War. Okay, so Cold War is something which is part of the world history. We have already seen that. So in the prelims, again, it is a part of international relation plus current affairs. IR is the part of GS paper 2. So see, Cold War is something where two countries don't actually fight. Okay, but they are against each other, and they try to bring harm to each other as much as possible from all the indirect processes. Okay, so why this tension has heightened? First is this COVID itself, where a lot of people are doubting over the role of China, that whether if it would have done the timely submission of the information, so much of chaos might have been avoided. Then even before this COVID issue, there was already ongoing US-China trade war, where both the countries, they put a lot of sanctions on each other, and also US blocked Chinese companies like Huawei from the 5G trial participation. Also recently, China is bringing a new security law in order to increase its control over the Hong Kong. Hong Kong is an island which has some autonomy. Okay, so it works under one country, two systems in China. So they're trying to bring more control over Hong Kong, so which is being opposed a lot in the Hong Kong itself. Okay, then in the Uyghur, if you know, it's the northwestern part of the China, the violation of human rights of the Uyghur community which lives in that region, that is again being brought to the front by United States. Plus in the United States itself, it's an election atmosphere, so these type of sensitive issues, sometimes they are used for even the political benefits in a lot of places. China has said that once it comes to this COVID issue, so for COVID issue, recently you all know World Health Assembly Summit has happened. So in that summit also, resolution which is known as COVID resolution was passed, as per which the WHO must make an independent inquiry into the handling of this epidemic as well as the role of the country. So it doesn't say directly anything about China, but yes, everybody wants to inquire about the role of China plus the handling of this epidemic by the WHO. So for that, Chinese are saying that we are open to the international cooperation, that we will allow the open inquiry. But again, until unless it is done, till that time, it looks like US is mounting more pressure to it, and China is reacting to it. Okay. Next, there was a scheme in today's paper which might be important. So that scheme name is ARRAY scheme, given in this COVID situation. So ARRAY stands for Attracting and Retaining Youth in Agriculture. Okay. So as of now, it is being implemented in 100 districts across India, and it is being implemented by ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. It has the potential for creating agricultural opportunities if proper infrastructure is provided. So see, as part of this scheme, actually, you try to provide profitable activities in the agricultural sector itself to the youth, so that they don't have to migrate to the urban areas in search of employment activities. Okay, so that was it for today's session, guys. This is a list of do's and don'ts. Please go through it in order to maximize your chances for selection in the prelims examination, and stay tuned with us. Do not forget to like, comment, share, or subscribe to the channel. We'll be back again with the new session of the current affairs soon. Thanks a lot for watching.